Hi, welcome back to La Belle V. So this morning we're going to go over really quickly the evidence list that was uploaded last evening in the Dan Markel Charlie Adelson trial. Now, taking a step back, a lot of the evidence is similar. What I did was I compared this list to the final list that was provided in advance of Katie Magbanowa's trial last spring, as well as the exhibit list of what was ultimately presented at trial, and compared it to this exhibit list. And not surprisingly, a lot of the evidence is the same. For example, here we're obviously going to have the same evidence of the crime scene, the pictures of the crime scene, the pictures of the cars, etc. But when I went looked through, and one of the new things I found was here highlighted a picture of the rented car versus the Lacasse car. Now, that was not on the exhibit list for Katie's trial, nor was it on presented in testimony to my recollection. And my thinking here is that perhaps the state is going to go further into that theory that perhaps Jeff Lacasse was set up to be a patsy. If you recall, he was supposed to leave Tallahassee to travel to Tennessee at 11 a.m., around the same time of the murder. But he wound up leaving the evening before. And you also recall that he had a small compact car, similar looking potentially to the compact car that was rented to in connection with the murder. So that's my only thinking here. That's a new picture. So that's my thinking of why that might come in. What do you think? The other thing is, a lot of this is cut and paste, which is not no criticism, but there is a lot of cut and pasting, and for that reason, I think because here we've got 55 and 55, I think it's because this is a new number. So anyway, so there's first item new. The second items that are new, I don't say they're new, but I think they're going to be expanded upon is these here, Sigfredo Garcia Financials, purchases after murder, as well as Luz Rivera's purchases after murder. We had testimony about what they bought after the murder. You recall there were motorcycles and cars. But I think here, again, as I mentioned in episode 1 of Charlie's Trial Countdown, when I was talking about Mary Hull, and I said I expect to see a lot more financial information in this trial and Charlie's trial, because again, Charlie is alleged to be the maestro of the whole thing, the money guy, right? The one that paid for the murder. So obviously we're going to see evidence on the payments and the connections between the middle woman and the, actual hitman. So that's why I think we see this here. It's not necessarily that it's new, but I think we're going to see more detail. This is interesting. Rivera banking patterns bar graph, and I think that's supposed to say Rivera overdraft graph. So we'll have to see. But again, not surprised, more financial evidence. The next thing that's new is this Magbanowa checks from Adelson Institute summary. This underneath that Magbanowa checks from Adelson Institute chart was in the prior trial, but they've also prepared a summary. So I don't know that that's much new, but that's different. This is new. Timing of Katie Magbanowa final Adelson Institute checks chart, and also Magbanowa breast augmentation payment. Interesting. Again, more financials. This was all the same. Again, going into more detail on the connection with the middle woman and the Adelsons. So here we've got another new exhibit of Magbanowa cash deposits and income from Adelson-related sources. Again, I think to make it very crystal clear, here's the Adelson-related sources, and here's how it connects to Katie. Here, Magbanowa employment timeline combined with cash deposits and key dates. That looks to be expanded from what was provided at the prior trial. At the prior trial, it was described as key dates to the murder, and it looks like they've expanded that to 2013 to 2016, which makes sense because remember, it's not just the payment that she allegedly received for her part in the actual murder for hire, but it was also the continual payments that she was receiving post murder up until the time she was arrested. And here again, I don't necessarily think it's new information, but again, more detailed information, more clear connections with these next two, the Magbanoa employment and cash deposits, line graphs 2013 to 2016, and then by color. Now, what is new, and again, I wasn't surprised. I talked about it, no one's surprised, I'm sure, but the Adelson, we're going to get the Adelson financials, right? So we've got here Adelson total account balance chart with spreadsheet, Adelson investment account totals with spreadsheet. And you'll recall Mary Hall testified that there were 18 different investment accounts that the Adelsons have. So lots of information there. I think she said it was 10,000 pages of discovery. So that will be interesting to see all of that. Adelson family financial texts. That will be very interesting. And Katie Magbanoa other financial benefits texts. So again, I think we're going to see even more information on the different types of benefits that Katie received allegedly from the Adelsons, again, as this post-murder payoff for her role as the middle woman. The next thing isn't new. They had iCloud extracts in the prior trial, but I think we're going to get more. So I think it's going to be broader in this trial now that we have an Adelson. Again, similarly, we had wire calls in the last trial, but again, I think we might get more to show Charlie's role in all of this now that we have an Adelson on trial. And finally, the Matsuri tape. This definitely, of course, was not in Katie's trial. We first saw this in the bond hearing last September when Charlie was filed a motion to try to get out of jail pre-trial, and of course that was denied. And that is the first time that we did see that Matsuri tape. So, not surprisingly, we're going to see it here. But other than that, that's it. Not much else to say. It's pretty much along the lines of what I expected to see, particularly the financials. As I mentioned in my first episode of Trial Countdown, I think whoever, Mary Hall and whoever took over her place when she was promoted to a different department, think that financial analysis is going to be definitely front and center in this trial, since that's the whole point, right? They're the ones that allegedly paid to have the hit done. So thank you so much for joining. I'll do another video today once we get the witness list uploaded. And in the meantime, I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.